welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing with you 5 slow cooker meals that are truly dump and go recipes. There is no browning, there is no searing, no pre-cooking of any kind. You just seriously dump everything into your slow cooker in the morning, and by dinner time you have a delicious meal. So I hope that you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's go make some slow cooker meals.
All right, so we're going to start this week off with Mississippi pot roast. This is so good. So I just took a 2.5-pound chuck steak, and I am using about half of this jar of banana peppers. So it's probably about a half a cup of banana peppers. I use the sliced ones, but you can absolutely use the whole ones too. And I put a couple splashes of the juice in there because why not? And then I am using half of this pack of au jus mix, and then we are going to use half of this packet of ranch dressing. And then, of course, we need a little bit more juice in there and a cup of beef broth. Now, we are just going to cover this, and we are going to cook this on low for 8 hours. And then I completely forgot to hit record at this point. I did wind up making a cornstarch slurry and transferring this to the stovetop to thicken it up, but you can always thicken this up 30 minutes beforehand. You can add the cornstarch slurry and it'll get nice and thick too. So this is what it came out like. I served it over some mashed potatoes with some broccoli, and it was amazing. Next up, we're making cheesy salsa chicken, and this is so good. All of the cheese actually comes from salsa con queso, and it's amazing. So I am just lining my slow cooker with a slow cooker liner. These things are great for cleanup. I will link them down below for you. And then we're adding in 1 can of diced tomato with green chilies, a whole jar of the salsa con queso, about the equivalent to a packet of taco seasoning. I would say it's about 4 tablespoons, and then a packet of ranch dressing. Give everything a really good mix. Make sure it's all well combined. We're going to cover this up, and we're going to cook it on high for 4 hours. Once the 4 hours are up, we're just going to go in, take 2 forks, and shred up all of the chicken. There are so many ways to serve this. You can serve it either on tacos or on nachos. I did both because I was feeding an entire family, and my husband loves nachos. I love the burritos, and I'm telling you, this was so good. I topped it with just some cheese and lettuce. You can top it with whatever your heart desires. This is just all the stuff I had on hand, and let me tell you guys, this is so versatile. Next time, I probably would use a little bit more chicken, so maybe about 1.5 pounds. That's the only thing I would do differently. Next up, we're making ValeeneMarie chicken, and I came up with this recipe after watching way too many TikTok videos of Marry Me chicken, but I wanted to find an easier way to make this that would just make sense for us. So I said, why not make it in a slow cooker? So we have 1.5 pounds of chicken breast, 1/3 cup of sliced sun-dried tomatoes. This is 24 ounces of Alfredo sauce, and then a packet of Italian seasoning dressing. And then give everything a really good stir. Make sure everything's well combined. Cover this. We're going to cook this on low for 6 hours. And then after about 5.5 hours, we're going to add in 2 cups of fresh spinach and then give everything a good stir. And we're going to finish this off by cooking it another 30 minutes. And yeah, this is what it comes out like. And you guys, this is so good. I mean, I've had the regular Marry Me chicken, but this one was so easy, and I think this is a real winner in our house. Next up, we're going to be making smothered pork roast. I know smothered can be a very controversial word, but this is so good, trust me. So I've got about 3 cups of red potatoes. I diced them nice and small, lining my slow cooker again because this thing really has helped with cleanup this week. And I'm just going to put in all of my potatoes right on the bottom of the crock pot. And I've got a 2-pound pork roast here. And we're going to use 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, a can of the mushrooms. Now, I did use the bigger can, not the little one, because this is a pretty big roast. And then I've got 1 can of cream of chicken soup and a can of cream of mushroom soup. And remember that little half a packet of au jus that we used in our Mississippi pot roast? Well, we are going to be using the rest of it in this recipe. And then 1 packet of onion soup mix as well, and a cup of water because this is going to be a pretty thick consistency. So we want to kind of try to thin it out. As it cooks, it will thin out a little bit more, but it will still be really thick and delicious. And then we're just going to cook this on low for 8 hours. All right, now that that time is up, we are just going to give everything a good mix, make sure that all the potatoes are nice and cooked. Pork is a little bit different when it is slow cooked rather than a regular meat, especially a pork roast, because it does not really fall apart, but it still slices so easily. Oh my goodness, this was so amazing. And the great thing about this recipe is that it is truly a dump and go. You don't have to prepare any sides because everything is already right there in the crock pot. This was amazing. So for our final recipe, we are making tortellini soup. Oh my goodness, this is such a great recipe and it is so good for this time of year. There's so many different variations of a tortellini soup. So I just have 1 yellow onion that I diced up, just placing that at the bottom of my slow cooker. Make sure that it's nice and spread out. And then I'm using this whole bag of cheese tortellini. It is frozen, so you can absolutely take it right out of the freezer. I believe it's 19 ounces. That's the size of the bag from Walmart. And then I'm using 1 can of diced tomatoes. And then I've got 8 ounces of cream cheese. I just cut them into cubes and I kind of just dollop them right on top. And of course, it needs some garlic, so I used 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and then 1 teaspoon each of Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and onion powder. And of course, our favorite marinara sauce. I am using 24-ounce jar of marinara here. And then we are going to add in this whole bag of frozen green beans. Make sure that you use the frozen ones. The canned ones turn a very funky color if you cook them too long. And then I've got 4 cups of vegetable broth. I wanted to keep this vegetarian. Once you give everything a good stir, we're just going to cover this up, cook it on high for 3 hours. And let me tell you guys, this is so good. Look at how delicious this looks. The tortellini is nice and plump. The cream cheese melted so beautifully, making this such a creamy, amazing soup. And my entire family loved this. My girls could not get enough, which was a huge, huge accomplishment in our house.
Okay friends, so that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope that you got some inspiration for your next slow cooker meal out of this. And if you did, I would love for you to hit that like button down below. That really does help out my channel so much. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button, join the family, and turn on the notifications so you never miss another cooking episode. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.